So, welcome to my first Napoleonic battle report. Today I'm gonna play a small skirmish from 1809 campaign in Poland. Here we have the advance guard of General Sokolnicki. It's 3 infantry battalions, 1 section of horse artillery and a squadron of Uhlans, and they're gonna be fighting with Austrian brigade. Here is commander, infantry battalion with 2 detached companies in forests, 1 foot artillery section, and here on the second position another artillery section and 2 infantry battalions. The Poles have to push their way through the table to Sandomierz, while Austrians have to delay their advance. I'm gonna be using our club rules, which we are developing, so it's gonna be a kind of playtesting. We will see how it works. So that is the situation at the beginning, and I will come back after the first few moves. So the first move is over. As you can see, the Poles have deployed their skirmishers, 3 companies of voltigeurs, and Polish and Austrian battery opened fire. The fire was not so effective, however, 1 Polish battalion here and Austrian battalion on the road have gained 1 marker of disorder. Disorder works in that way that it causes units to maneuver slowly, it gains penalties to shoot, to next disorder and morale checks, so it's not good. However, a unit can remove this marker by forming up, spending 2 actions and making a check to remove a disorder marker. A unit can have a maximum of 3 such markers, and each time it have to gain another one, there is a chance it will break because it has to pass morale test. So that's the situation, slowly developing. The Poles, seeing the opponent on quite strong position, know that charging ahead is not the best option because the artillery and infantry would decimate advancing units. So General Sokolnicki planned to capture this forest and attack the main formation on the road from the flank, avoiding the artillery, but fighting in the forest is not easy, so let's see what happens next. So, another turn. As you can see, Polish voltigeurs engaged the Austrian infantry in the forest, but the Austrians welcomed either with volley and causes one casualty in Polish ranks, so only one, not two. The artillery still exchanges fire, but without further effect. Polish and Austrian battalions passed their formation tests, and they are no longer disordered. So, with enemy formation in the forest engaged, General Sokolnitsky will soon give order to advance of the columns. I think he will use these two battalions to secure his left flank, and he will leave this one battalion in reserve to threat the Austrian center of this position. So we'll see how it goes. So we're back to our small skirmish. The situation has changed a little. As you can see, these two Polish battalions managed to push that Austrian company from the forest, although this battalion is disordered a bit, but now they are able to attack the flank of Austrian infantry and artillery on the road from the forest, which is much more secure position than charging all the way down the road across the open terrain under artillery fire. So I think in this situation the Austrian commander will soon order the retreat of artillery across the bridge, and soon after that his infantry will fall back to the village, and after small resistance they will probably also withdraw to the other side of the bridge. The attack of Polish infantry they won't attack soon, because this disordered battalion has to reorganize. It will probably take a few minutes. The second battalion also has a quite long way to go through the forest, and at slow pace, to avoid disorder, it will take a few minutes also. So I think the Austrians are safe and secure to withdraw their artillery and all units from the ridge to the village and to the other side of the river. So, first small success for the Poles. We'll see what will happen next. So, that's the situation after Polish advance. Poles managed to reorganize the units quite fast. So the Austrian commander decided that his disordered battalion has no chance defending the village, and he withdrew through the bridge, leaving only 2 companies skirmishing with Polish voltigeurs throughout this build-up area. 1 Polish battalion came around the village, and the other 2 prepare to charge the buildings and across the bridge. But this will be a very, very hard task. The river can be crossed only through the bridge. These 2 small bridges. But all the forts, all the passes are guarded by Austrian, and the main bridge is covered by artillery. So as soon as Poles leave the buildings, they will be in the canister range of this Austrian battery. So it's very, very strong position that Austrians took, and Polish commander have to find another way. I think he will try at last once to charge through the bridge and smash the Austrian battalions on the other side. But if this attempt failed, he will probably try one of the other passes, as they are not so heavily guarded. And after deploying a unit on the other side of the river, he would be able to outflank the Austrian position and force the Austrians to retreat. But I think this will be a very, very tough time for Poles. They have 1 squadron of cavalry, Uhlans from 6th Regiment, but in this area, in this terrain, I don't think they will be usable. So it's all down to infantry and artillery, and the Austrians have a lot more, both infantry and artillery. So it's a very hard task for General Sokolnitsky. But it's not the hardest one. He was able to fight against such much worse odds. So, General Sokolnitsky carefully planned his assault across the bridge. He decided to take the grenadier companies from all battalions and use it as a spearhead, formed into column, commanded by Colonel Weisenhoff from 12th Infantry Regiment. Their task is to charge across the bridge and push back the Austrians. He decided to do it because grenadiers are the best, the most elite soldiers, and the chances to run across the bridge are a little bit higher than ordinary infantry. They have better morale, they are better trained, so it could help them to run across the bridge and don't stop and open fire being at the middle of the bridge while being shot by canisters from Austrian artillery. Speed is a key. They will be covered and supported by voltigeurs, also 3 companies from all the battalions. The rest of the infantry is prepared to cross through all the bridges as soon as the grenadiers do their job. So we will see how it goes. The Polish horse artillery managed to slightly disorder Austrian artillery, so it could be very, very helpful. So the plan almost worked. The Poles get through the middle of the bridge. The Austrian infantry and artillery hold fire until the grenadiers came to 100 meters. Then, well, all guns blazing. The whole line and the artillery opened fire and they decimated the grenadiers. 50% casualties, 9 casualties. So that's a lot of troops, about 150, I guess. 1 casualty is about 17 to 20 soldiers, so times 9. But the grenadiers didn't broke. They are shaken. They stopped in the middle of the bridge and opened fire. Not so effective as the Austrian salvo, but they hold. Colonel Weisenhoff tried to give them spirit to try one more time, but the grenadiers don't want to go through this hell and storm of lead. So I think they will withdraw and General Sokolnitsky will have to find another way. But this salvo of Austrian battalion, it's the 1st battalion of 54th Infantry Regiment. It was devastating. The artillery, they didn't make such huge amount of damage, only 2 casualties, but the rest, it's all from the infantry. So I think that the Austrian line is secured for now, and General Sokolnitsky have to find another way across the river. We will see what he will come up. Well, that was quick. The second Austrian salvo broke the grenadiers. They received 4 more casualties. They ran through the Polish battalion in reserve and this battalion panicked and also ran away. So there is a quite significant hole in Polish lines. Only skirmish screen in the village. But Austrians are happy to stay where they are. As this is very strong position. So I think the General Sokolnitsky will report back to Prince Poniatowski's headquarters that he encountered a very strong resistance from the Austrians and he is not able to secure the bridge without reinforcements. And he will try to hold his position, but he is not able to break through the Austrian defenses. So I think that ends the battle as Austrian victory. Their losses are really minimal, only 2 casualties, one on that battalion who fought at the first line and one from the grenadiers that fired to this battalion. Oh, and also 1 casualty on artillery, so 3 casualties in total, about 55-60 men. While on the Polish side, the situation is much worse. 18 casualties. There is 14 casualties on Grenadier Battalion out of 18 men, so they almost wiped out. 1 casualty on this infantry battalion and 3 casualties on skirmish screen. So 18 times 17, it's about 300 dead, wounded and missing. So it's quite a lot. So that was the battle from 1809 campaign, somewhere in Poland. I hope you enjoyed.